We're lighting that cactus, baby. The Arizona Diamondbacks get 10 runs on 7 extra base hits tonight. Meanwhile, I wore a Ken Griffey Jr. shirt and I did not curse our team. We are talking about all of this on the other side of this introduction. Don't you go anywhere. We're going in 30 seconds. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. This guy behind me, he's Jesse Jr. He's my adorable snake son. And over there on the ones and twos, we got your dog, my dog, everyone's dog. It's Damon dog, Damon Carroll, here holding it down late at night with me on the night where the Diamondbacks secure their 9th series victory of the year. Yes, the Diamondbacks win this series, beating the Mariners tonight by a score of 10-3. And boy, did it feel like old times at Chase Field with good defense, solid offense, a good start, and an uneventful, wrapping up of the game by the bullpen. But this show, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Go use that code of PHNX365 at Bet365. Download that app right now. You'll get yourself $150 in bonus bets. Go over to Game Time. Use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first ticket purchase for amazing games like this one tonight. Shane Diefenbach was in the building, known Seattle Mariners fan. I got to go sit next to him while bad things happened to his team, and it felt great to watch the Diamondbacks win. What Corbin Carroll right here is about to say was a nice, uneventful, calm win. What's Corbin's thoughts on this calm win?
Nice, just win a game, no drama.
Yeah, it was. Definitely. Yeah.
That's how we all feel. That is how we all feel right now. Yes, definitely. It feels great for the Diamondbacks to just win this one by a whole lot of runs. In fact, the last time the Diamondbacks were up by 6 runs in a baseball game was that one against the Pirates that they ended up losing. So the results of this one, much better. The Snakes improve to 33 and 34. Damon, I know this might be a little premature, but I said we might never see him, and I lied. Let's go ahead and send little Domo up Mount 500 because we've almost reached the top of it. We added a little more music to it. It's great, isn't it? Diamondbacks improved to 33 and 34, and a lot of this tonight was the offense. The Diamondbacks offense got on the board early. They got on the board at first in the 3rd inning. Should have been getting on the board, there in the 1st inning, Damon, when they sent Geraldo Perdomo around 3rd base, and then he got thrown out at home. The Diamondbacks lead the National League currently with 14 base runners getting thrown out at home base. So I'm sure a lot of people are upset with 3rd base coach Sean Larkin, and I'm sure even he is. Let's be honest. I mean, you probably second guessing himself after last night. Threw up the stop sign that got ran through and easily scored a run. Tonight he sent Domo, and you could almost see the immediate regret in his body language once Domo rounded 3rd, because that ball was coming in and it was coming in hot. Perdomo did get gunned out at home plate, but the Diamondbacks offense went on to do some big things. In the 3rd inning, Alek Thomas walked, and Corbin Carroll brought him home with an RBI triple. That was his 7th of the year. Corbin Carroll would go on to add a 2nd triple in this game, and this was, again, a great night offensively, but like Corbin Carroll, just his speed is unfathomable. This is even with him having still some hamstring issues, and after the game he was asked about that hamstring issue, and it didn't sound like it was 100%, right? So it's hilarious to see how fast this man can go when he is currently suffering from any kind of injury, any kind of nagging kind of injury that's holding him back from being at his fastest. But Elise known baseball GM and person we're still suspicious is definitely Mike Hazen, says Larkin has to go for sure. Well, when that's Elise saying that, Damon, I don't know if we if Larkin's job is necessarily safe. He is at least lost known baseball GM Elise.
This is one of those moments where I wish that Elise truly was Mike Hazen, like we like to pretend, because it is in fact time to go. And you know, it's hard to say that so early in a season, right? But man, dude, like this just can't keep happening.
Yeah.
The most jarring part about all of this, Derek, is how on earth is there a team in the American League that has had more runners thrown out?
Do you know who it is? Do you want to take a guess who it is?
I think I saw. So I
think
it's the Rays.
Yeah, it's the Rays.
Yeah, so,
it's the Rays. It's our sister team, or
course,
whatever you want to call it.
Of course it is.
Because we always got to keep up on each other in stats. We got to have all of our stats be alike, and that's the way that goes.
It's just he's clearly, yesterday he was coaching scared. I'm sure that they told him that when he obviously held Jerry up. So today he went ultra aggressive and it burned him again. Yeah. Whatever this guy is choosing right now is the wrong choice.
Well, and
I was a guy who was very critical of Tony Perez-Chica at times.
Yes,
and I'm sitting here and I'm on my hands and my knees begging Tony P to come back. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah. I will say that I completely understand the frustration there. However, the defense was pretty good tonight. And after the game, Torey Lovullo credited Larkin quite a bit for his work with guys like Josh Naylor over there, who just his defense is so much better now than it was at the beginning of the season. And again, even then, like we've talked about it, a lot of the Josh Naylor defensive mistakes weren't necessarily on Josh. It just felt like for some reason the throws over to first base they were very gingerly. They weren't very strong. They weren't, it just didn't feel like things were connecting. Didn't feel like this was a connected team. And tonight they felt like a connected team. This felt like old times. The Diamondbacks stealing bases, scoring runs, putting pressure on the opposing team, and basically keeping their foot on the pedal. Again, after in that same inning, in the third inning, Marte walks. Carol would score on a Geraldo Perdomo sac fly to make the game 2-0. Then Lourdes Gurriel, who Damon absolutely is going to fight me on this, Damon, on the Lourdes Gurriel situation. We know that we might have a disagreement here about who's king stake, but Lourdes had himself one hell of a night. He added that solo home run in the fourth inning to make it 3-0. That was his 10th home run of the year. And Lourdes also made some incredible defensive play, including one of the best ones I've ever seen him make as a member of this Diamondbacks team, where he robbed Cal Raleigh of his 27th home run with just a spectacular catch in the third inning. Again, Lourdes never looks graceful, even when he's making an amazing catch like this. But boy, man, I don't think anybody was expecting him to make this catch, Damon.
No, I mean, I certainly wasn't expecting him to make this catch. But I think overall, and yes, we are going to fight later about King Snake, probably, might be the end of PHNX Dbacks as a show. But
it's worth it.
But this defense tonight was incredible. And I think it's the story of the win for the Diamondbacks.
For sure.
We'll get into Brandon Pfaadt, I'm sure, and talk about his outing a little bit more. And Pfaadt himself will talk about it. But I didn't think he was very good. I wasn't encouraged by what I saw from Brandon Pfaadt beyond that it was better than the last two disasters that I watched.
Yeah.
That being said, his defense, I think for the first time this season really is, they showed up and they showed out and they made plays that, kept this team in it despite all the base running. All the base runners that they have out there. So still need to find out their own base running problems, but the defense looked like Diamondbacks defense tonight, and that's something that you can build off of.
Well, Lourdes added a stolen base himself. Alec Thomas had a stolen base, and the defense was just superb all around the diamond. I mean, Marte there had in that same inning where Lourdes robbed Raleigh, Marte made a killer double play on Randy Rosarina to end that inning. And then Josh Naylor, again, I brought him up. Torey, once again, he credited Sean Larkin for working with Josh Naylor, and he made some incredible plays himself, including one of his own to rob Raleigh. And I think somebody in the comments said it. I think Cal Raleigh hates playing at Chase Field right about now, and I think that's pretty accurate. But let's hear from Torey Lovullo here. This is what Torey had to say on the outing overall and his feelings on the way.
Well, first let's hear from Brandon Pfaadt.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, let's hear from Brandon Pfaadt on his outing and the way things went tonight.
I think command was better. Gabby did a great job with the game plan, and kept me focused and kept me in the zone for the most part. And the defense was great today. And Gurriel robbing that homer and then coming up a few innings later with a homer of his own. I think that set the tone, and the offense and defense came to play tonight.
Shane Diefenbach is in our chat somehow trying to credit himself and his friend for the win. He said, so sadly, this wasn't the Dbacks doing. They only played well because my friend ate a rally hot dog while Gabby was batting. Yeah, no, I would think you Mariners fans would know better than to do that kind of thing. Tanner says, what's wrong with Pfaadt's voice? I would go on to question what's wrong with most of these ball players' voices after a game. I don't understand why they talk so low. I don't understand why it gets so gravelly. It's a win, boys. Let it loose. Let it fly. That's why Ryan Thompson will always be one of my favorite people. He speaks with his whole chest when he talks to us.
One answer for you.
Yeah,
Louisville.
More importantly, Ryan Thompson is an excellent pro wrestling booker and has some amazing years of running his own promotion after he's done being a reliever in Major League Baseball. But again, the offense tonight really was the story. The Diamondbacks had 7 extra base hits. You got in the 5th, Josh Naylor hit a ground rule double that scores Thomas. That made it 4-0 at that point. Then Pfaadt did allow 2 solo home runs there in the 5th or in the 6th inning, and that ended his outing. But still a great night from Pfaadt. But that's where, things got a little close. You got a little nervous if you were a Diamondbacks fan. Game was 4-2 at that point, but the Diamondbacks just blew things open in the 6th. Lourdes would single. That's where he would steal his base. Pavin walks, and Gabby hits his 5th home run of the season. That pushed the lead to 7-2, and that was basically the blow that broke the Mariners back tonight. Corbin Carroll would go on to add his 2nd RBI triple of the game, scoring Thomas. He now has 8 triples this season. And then Carroll would also score on a Geraldo Perdomo sac fly. That would move the Diamondbacks lead to 9-2. And then meanwhile, you got Alek Thomas adding a solo home run as well. This was just an overall thorough offensive performance from this team. And quite frankly, a great performance from, the pitching staff. I know it's not perfect. I know they didn't put a 0 up on the board, but, you had a lot of guys that did well offensively. And then the pitchers, they did their job. Right. Bryce Jarvis made his return to the lineup or to the bullpen. And he was not perfect, but he did enough. But the offense put this team in a position to absolutely win this game. Corbin Carroll was 2 for 5 tonight with 2 RBI and 2 runs scored. Meanwhile, Josh Naylor was 3 for 4 with an RBI. Lourdes Gurriel was 2 for 4 with that home run, 2 runs scored and an RBI himself. And then Alek Thomas 3 for 3 with 4 runs scored, 1 RBI, 1 walk. So just a fantastic performance tonight by the offense. Again, I think Candace suggested in the chat that we give the King Snake to the whole team. That's not how King Snake works, Candace. We can only give it to one person, and we're going to fight about which person that is. I will go on to say, Damon, that you might be right here, because the one thing I can think of a little bit here with Lourdes is I just wonder how this game changes if that Cal Raleigh home run goes over the wall.
Correct.
Right? Because we've seen this team. This team does have fight late in games. They do have fight in them left, but it does feel at times like they kind of just wilt away when things don't go their way, especially late. So who knows if that home run goes over the wall and, you get the Mariners, they would have been on top at that point. So, maybe if things go that way, maybe we don't win this game, but that's not the timeline we live in. We live in this one.
I'll be Derek. We do not win this game if that home run goes over the wall. That's why I feel so strongly like I do about King Snake tonight, because I think that, and I want to give credit to your guy, and we'll get into him when we pull it on screen here, but I just think it was a little bit more garbage time, and Lourdes was a little bit more like game changing to me.
Yeah. And that's fair. That's fair. We'll give honorable mention to Lourdes, and probably maybe he should be secondary, first King Snake, double-headed King Snake, whatever you want to call it. But I pulled rank here, and we're giving it to Alek Thomas, because Alek Thomas does not have a night like this very often lately. And again, we've talked about the Diamondbacks needing contributions from guys outside of 2 players in the starting lineup, giving them solid nights, right? Again, we've talked about how rare it is that Cattell and Corbin have a good night on the same night. Well, Alek Thomas has not been having a great season, but he's quietly been contributing here or there. This was just such a big night for him. It felt like Alek Thomas was just at the core of so many scoring opportunities. He extended situations. And again, like, yeah, you could call that home run kind of a garbage time home run there a little bit, but I call it a home run is what I call it. And I say that Alek Thomas has now improved his batting average to 273. He's also increased his OPS to 710. So it feels like things are warming up for him. A couple of other guys are getting hot. Lourdes, another guy that is continuing to stay hot. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has now increased his batting average to 258 with a 750 OPS. Gino nearly has an 800 OPS. Josh Naylor's has an 818 OPS with a 297 batting average. Cattell's hitting 292 with a 1.003 OPS. The Diamondbacks offense is getting the job done right now. What they need is a serviceable effort from their bullpen and more good starting pitching like they got tonight from Brandon Pfaadt. Seeing Brandon Pfaadt go out there tonight, even though he gave up a lot of hard contact, felt good. It felt right. It felt like, you know, that those two outings were more anomalies than, you know, what, you know, than you know, him kind of falling off here. But again, he did give up some very hard contact. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. But before we do that, I think we have Torey now talking about his overall thoughts on this game. This is what Torey had to say about this win.
I was really pleased to see what Brandon Pfaadt was able to do today. After a couple of tough outings, he came in with a good game plan, started to execute some pitches. Got through five real clean and got nicked up, pitch count climbed a little bit, but we got a win. And you know that for a young pitcher, that can be a little bit of a challenge from time to time when you get banged around for a couple consecutive starts. You're always wondering what will the next one show up as. And he came out and did a really nice job of attacking and following that game plan. Offensively, we put up some big numbers. 12 hits, 4 walks. You get north of that 13 base runner. In my opinion, base runner total, you're going to put up some big numbers, and we slugged. We had a big home run by Gabby. For me, that was the one that broke the game open. I did the CAT. And Gurriel also chipped in with the solo home runs. But overall, it was just a really good day, really good win. Wasn't where your heart is pounding for the last 3 or 4 innings. We were kind of nice and relaxed, and we always look forward to those wins. We're conditioned for any type of win, but we haven't had this type of win in a long time, so it was really nice.
Good job, Damon. Good job. You're not supposed to let them hear what I say.
At least we said nothing nasty.
Yeah, I mean, I normally talk a lot of trash about everybody.
We could have said
chat.
a lot worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already screwed it up and revealed my secret for Geek Martinez, but we'll get around to that later in the show. What I will say is that Torey, there's been a lot of frustration on his part, and I know fans are frustrated with Torey. That's a whole other. We could do a 2-hour episode about people's frustrations with this whole situation. But what I will say is that Torey, it's like what we saw with Sean Larkin. You feel like there's a lot of second guessing going on. There's a lot of things going on, but I mean, this team has this kind of fight in them. I know that this Mariners team isn't by any stretch of the imagination one of the best teams in baseball, but they're a very tough team, and the Diamondbacks have now won their 9th series of the year by beating them the first 2 games. They go for the S word tomorrow. I promise you I will do everything in my power not to say it before this episode is over, but like, damn it, this is one of those things that again, this one felt good, and this feels like, this is the team that they know they have. This is the team that they know is capable of going out there on any given night and winning. Torey talked about the fact that, like, defensively, their stats are kind of garbage in innings 7 through 10 or 7 through 9. I should say 10 because they go to 10 innings quite often and lose. But again, this is one of those things where this was a complete game. Defensively, they were solid. It feels though like with what they're going through, with all of these pitchers being lost to injury, and just the situation that the Diamondbacks are kind of dealing with here, it's nice to see them have fight left in them. And I asked Torey about that. I was wondering if these things that this team is going through, if it's if the response was surprising, or at least what his thoughts were on the response tonight from this team after all of the bad news they received yesterday. And you know, quite frankly, going back to Corbin Burns, as Torey will say here, this is what he had to say about the team, basically not surprising him with their response.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised. This team is resilient. They make adjustments, and we have taken on a lot of really bad news over the past couple of days. First of all, it started with Corbin Burns, so we can state that as a fact. And you know, it's been a very, very difficult week with the injuries and the type of news that we've been getting behind each injury. When we take somebody off the field, that just hasn't been very positive. So this team's tough. This team wants to win, and we haven't played great baseball, and we've deserved to lose the games that we have lost. But they're doing things that show me they're out there every single day fighting and grinding. And we're a gritty team, and I'm proud of them.
Defensively.
He said gritty. For those of you that have been around since 2015, you know how funny that is. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Brandon Pfaadt. We're going to hear some more from Brandon Pfaadt and maybe some more from Corbin Carroll on his thoughts about beating this Seattle Mariners team. On the other side of this break, don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, we have been having a ton of fun with a new app called VMe. VMe is a first-of-its-kind person-to-person betting app. And you know the guys at the PHNX office have been going crazy with this. We've just been doing foot races and betting who could go fastest. But wagers can be for money or they can be for free. It's a great way for you to track potentially your fantasy leagues and other things that you want to just have everybody chip in on, or if you just want to bet on anything, sports, video games, it could be fantasy matchups, golf games, poker night, it doesn't matter. VMe is here for 1v1 or group challenges, whether you are running a poker game buy-in, throwing cornhole in the backyard, betting on the golf course, or betting a friend on, honestly, this Diamondbacks team. If you want to get that one rival sports fan online, all you got to do is pick your people, set the stakes, and lock it in. The best part, no more chasing cash. You as the person organizing the bet does not have to go around and make sure everybody pays and make sure it's fair. We don't want to trust the Venmo guy, and neither should you. No more I'll pay you later, no more sore losers. Of course, download the VMe app today and play today using code PHNX, available on the App Store and Google Play. VMe, anyone, anything, anytime. I'm going to VMe on how many times I'm going to say of course on this episode, Damon. Over under, we'll figure that out. But also,
I'm a big what do I say, shoot, certainly
mine is also it is what it is. That I'll get that in a lot. But Branded Bills, if you're looking to get your brand to stand apart from the crowd, look to Branded Bills. Not only can you look to them if you're just a hat aficionado like me, you want yourself some great U of A, ASU, or Suns hats. They have all of those. They also have some great hats for this great state of Arizona we live in. But you can also get some hats made specifically for your brand. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the next custom apparel you need, or the exact custom apparel you need, whether it's snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, or tees. Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. And of course, it's great that they're a local company from right here in Phoenix, Arizona, or Mesa, Arizona is where they're based out of, but we're here in Phoenix. So head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 10% off your first order. That's BBPHNX for 10% off your first order. Well, Brandon Pfaadt had a much better result tonight than his last two outings. And again, that's something that I think we can all be very thankful for. Of course, a big part of that was that he went back to his sweeper. He got his sweeper working. And we had a chance to talk to Brandon a little bit more from the clubhouse. This is what Brandon had to say about using that sweeper more.
Did you have a better feel for the sweeper tonight?
I did. Yeah. That's something that we've been working on quite a bit to use. We didn't really use it too much last outing, and that's our best pitch. So we got to use it even when it doesn't feel good. So it felt better tonight.
That pleased my heart so much to hear him say that, because the other day when he struggled and I looked and he had thrown his sweeper twice, I was like, why are you only throwing, what we all perceive to be your best pitch only twice in an outing like this? Well, that's the problem is if he didn't have a good feel for his best pitch and he can't throw that, then he's limited on his arsenal. more importantly, he's limited on his game plan, right? Like mentally, you can go to that sweeper if you don't think that pitch is working for you and you just are 86ing it for the night. It's going to cause some problems, and we've seen that in Brandon Pfaadt's last two outings. I think somebody in the chat, it was Bees, said, I literally said I never worry about Pfaadt again after seeing him pitch in the World Series on short notice and delivering. Guys made out of the right stuff. And you're right about that. Like, we just wanted to see it. We just wanted this guy to get back on track, and he did tonight. He still got hit very hard. And I'm going to say that more than once because the Mariners had 20 hard hit balls tonight. 13 of them were over 100 miles per hour, and 5 were outs. So at least there was that, right? But the other 5 went very far, including those 2 home runs. And that was what ended Brandon Pfaadt's night. His line ends up, he goes 5 innings pitched. He gives up 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 K. Let's fire up that Circle K strikeout meter, and we'll make sure that, of course, those people know that we love them very much. But 4 strikeouts tonight for Brandon Pfaadt. He got 10 whiffs, 4 on the fastball. He got 3 on the sweeper, 3 on the changeup. But again, only 4 strikeouts, and again, a night of him getting hit very hard. I think the thing that's good about this for Brandon Pfaadt is it shows that he can get hit hard, but he can still limit the damage, and that's what has made him so consistent in his time with the Diamondbacks. And tonight was another one of those nights. Meanwhile,
I just wanted to say real quick, Derek, 8 of the 13 hardest hit balls of the game were off of Brandon Pfaadt tonight. And yeah, there were 3 balls that were hit, or 2 balls that were hit over 110 off of him. Another one that was hit 109. Like, they certainly were hitting the ball extremely hard off of Brandon Pfaadt tonight. And I think he did get a little bit lucky, and his defense helped him out a little bit. But it was good to not see a giant crooked number at least get put on the board on Brandon Pfaadt's head.
It was, and he is 3-0 in his last 4 home starts versus AL teams. And the Diamondbacks are 9-5 in his 14 starts this season. So far the team has a winning record when Pfaadt is out there on the mound. Meanwhile, behind him, the defense is now not committed an error in 5 consecutive games. We've never been more back, right? We've never been more back. No errors in 5 straight games. That feels right. But Taylor Scott made his Diamondbacks debut tonight. He tossed 1 scoreless inning there in the 6th inning. It wasn't easy. It wasn't drama free. He did, I think, have a 3-2 count on almost every single batter he faced, but he did a pretty good job. And once again, he went out there and did his job. That's what Torey has been talking about. This is what we haven't really seen out of relievers. I don't care how good or bad the results are for you as a reliever. I don't need to go out there and see you do 3 strikeouts, get 3 strikeouts in 1 inning. What I want is to see you put up zeros on the board when called upon to come into a game and hold a game like this. Now, no offense here to Bryce Jarvis, who was just called up, and he went out there today. Bryce Jarvis, again, wasn't perfect, but Jarvis gave them 3 innings, and that's what was important. He allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run in those 3 innings of work. So again, not a terrible outing by Jarvis, and the fact that he was able to save the bullpen and save those arms for another day is huge for this team. It's what they brought Bryce Jarvis up for. Torey said before the game that they were going to do their best to keep him stretched out, and he was going to be used for long relief like this. And again, it paid off tonight. Not a perfect outing, but 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Bryce Jarvis tonight. Again, Diamondbacks get the job done 10-3, and this is not a bad outing, not a bad outing at all. It's kind of nice to have one drama-free outing. I think. Do we have more from Corbin Carroll in the clubhouse? What else do we have from Corbin there, Damon?
Yeah, we had Corbin talking about all the pitching injuries that the team has sustained recently, and just kind of how their mentality has had to deal with that.
It's been tough on everyone, right? Not just the people themselves, but as friends and teammates, you heard from those guys, and they obviously mean a lot to us. But we've still got a good team here, and I play good baseball right now. So just gotta keep going.
Corbin was also asked about playing the Seattle Mariners, the team that he grew up watching and enjoying as a kid, and just if it was special to beat that team. And this is what Corbin had to say.
yeah, it's cool. Obviously, it's the team that I grew up watching, so there's definitely that element around a series like this for me to be able to hit my first homer off the Mariners yesterday and like give that ball to my mom. Just gotta pull.
Everybody's asking about the loud ass highlights in the background. I have no idea. What's funny is when I was recording that, I don't remember those being that loud in the background at all, but it just goes to show.
Well, it's more the question of, are the highlights loud or is Corbin quiet?
That's the
comparatively.
question.
The volume on the TV might be on like 2, and Corbin's just that damn quiet.
Yep. There's a lot of background noise in that one. My guy, my nips hurt, is here, known Nationals fan, and he says, Derek, what's your weekly Nats take? I'm gonna give you it. You're a pretty good team. Your pitching kind of sucks at times, but aside from that, I think you're a team to watch out for, to be honest. And I think that a lot of those teams in the NL East better keep their eye out on those Nats. So there you go. There's your compliment for the night.
3 losses in a row, Derek.
Hey, well,
here's my take on the Nats.
What do you got?
My nips hurt. You guys suck.
My nips hurt. This is Damon. I'm going to introduce you to him. He's not going to take any of your crap. So
I'm new around here, buddy, and I don't appreciate you coming at us. If you want to have a Nationals Diamondbacks war, I'm down to be a part of that. Derek's a little bit more of a lover than I am.
I am. I love everybody. I do, except Robert Ory and a couple of guys on that list. Jordan Montgomery is on that list, definitely for sure.
You David.
This is perfect. That's a perfect response. Well, somebody we hate a little bit today is a guy who we're going to spy on. I don't know if we have the graphic for spying on our exes handy, Damon. I know sometimes we just keep that thing on tap, but spying on our exes, kind of an impromptu edition here, is going to be in regards to Dominic Canzone. There he is. There's our guy. The former Diamondback player has been a problem since getting called up there by the Mariners. He had himself quite the home run last night that tied that game at 4 and basically made several of us lose a piece of our soul forever. But the Diamondbacks came back and won that game in extra innings. But again, it just seemed like Canzone was out there doing it tonight. He was 1 for 3 with a double. He had a stolen base. He had some great defensive plays as well, gunning guys down. I think he gunned down Ketel Marte at second base. Yeah, just a problem, a thorn in our side. Once again, another guy that for some reason needs to come back and pick on us after he left. And B says, I miss Canzone. I missed him a little bit tonight too. Elise says Canzone is very close to being added to the list after this revenge series. You are not wrong, ma'am. You are not wrong. And I will take that suggestion to heart because, again, known baseball GM Elise, what she says goes around here. So I can't argue with that.
I saw Dominic Canzone on deck as the tying run yesterday, Derek, and I was sitting there watching the game in my house. And I looked at my friend Jacob, who actually tunes into the show from time to time, and I just said, Dominic Canzone is 100% going to tie this baseball game by hitting a moonshot into the pool. Not only did he hit a moonshot, it went way further than the pool. I mean, It wasn't even close to the pool. That's one of the hardest hit balls I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And also just the throwing of the bat in the air, the scream immediately. I was sitting there just like, you can't make this up.
Yeah, you
this
really
is
couldn't.
Diamondbacks baseball.
Yeah.
And thankfully they won the game, but that was a painful watch yesterday. I was so glad we did not have to do a post-game show yesterday because I would have been miserable. And Derek, you would have been like, come on, Damon, we had a walk-off grand slam. Yeah. And I would have been like, shut up, Derek. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Damon's far more emotional than Kevin is. Kevin's just in here producing with a smile on. He's like, there was a game? I don't know. I didn't watch it. Meanwhile,
Cardinals won today, Derek.
Damon lives and dies with this team. Damon wouldn't have been able to get over the disappointment of the 9th inning after J Mart left to podcast, to do this, to get together, even though they won. And that was another one of those games that even though they won, they lost, right? And what was the cost? So high, so much. But somebody in the chat, Damon, if you could mind scrolling back, I don't know who said it, but someone brought up, I think it was Sean, brought up the fact that, like, yes, maybe if that game doesn't go, there it is. He said, but if that doesn't happen, does that win still feel so special? It might have brought the fight back for the good guys. And I don't know, man. I will say, like, again, that was my question to Torey about the response. The response last night. I mean, a lot of people saw Josh Naylor's post-game interview and had a lot of questions, thought that Josh Naylor looked more miserable than anybody has ever been in the history of baseball after hitting a walk-off grand slam in extra innings to win a baseball game, right? Torey did shed some light on that. He said today that Josh Naylor hates attention, like hates it. And when I went back and watched the clip of Perdomo pouring water all over him while he looked like he was going to just absolutely kick someone's ass, I was like, all right, this makes a little more sense. And also, I do feel like in watching it, not in real time, but once again in retrospect, like after the fact today, it did feel like he was putting on a little bit more of just like a show, maybe a little bit, like just being like just tolerating Perdomo's actions and not saying
I'm a
single
fun
word.
dude. I'm fun.
Yeah, but he's definitely not a fun guy.
I could be
Josh
fun.
Naylor is not a chill guy. He is not a chill guy. And I love him for it. Torey also said, he's all, well, if you don't like attention, why are you going around headbutting your manager? I've seen the video. That cracked me up. But hey, man, I'll tell you, big win for this team. And at this point, they're going to have to keep putting up offensive performances like this if this team wants to remain together through the trade deadline and make a run at the postseason. And as it stands, their chances aren't great right now. We're going to talk about that later in the show. We're also going to talk about what they need to do in order to avoid being one of the teams that absolutely gets picked apart by the competitors in Major League Baseball to make their teams better at the trade deadline. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial, and we're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Of course, Game Time is the place to buy last-minute ticket deals, and of course, I just used it yesterday to go to WWE Raw.
I know you did.
You know I pulled that card.
Let me put a little peek behind the curtain here.
$42 tickets to Raw? Get out of here,
Derek's
pal.
looking at me yesterday in the office going, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it out to WWE tonight. And I was like, yeah, who are you kidding, pal?
And I was like, I'm tired. I went to a bunch of events this weekend. This is just a bad time for me. Well, who was there at 5:30 screaming for CM Punk? This guy right here, thanks to our friends at Game Time. And that's because you can save up to 60% off by buying last-minute tickets like I did. And, of course, a great way to get those ticket deals is to use Game Time's picks, Game Time picks, which will find you the best ticket deal, lowest price, best seat. And let me tell you, there weren't a lot of seats over there at PHX Arena. That was the fullest I've ever seen of that building for an episode of Raw. So it was a big help to have Game Time on my side. I got to check out what the seats were going to look like. I got to toggle in the all-in pricing to know exactly what my fee was going to be at checkout. There were no surprises at all. And I also knew that I was getting the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time was going to credit me 110% of the difference. So you do like I did. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for 20% off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Damon, what time is it?
Game time, Derek.
It's game time, baby. It's also time to stop at Circle K. So, of course, if you are looking to cool down with this hot, hot summer upon us, make sure to stop by America's Thirst Stop, where you can get yourself all sorts of deals, especially if you are an Inner Circle member. If you are not an Inner Circle member, you can join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. But when you do join, you'll get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You'll save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. And right now, you'll get things like 79-cent Polar Pops after you get your first 5 Polar Pops for free. You'll get 99-cent Frosters, 3 for $7 Ghosts. We are the Ghost people. Don't forget that. And so much more. You can also save 30 cents off per gallon on fuel when you buy 3 Celsius. And you can also check out the Circle K exclusive Flavor by Celsius Watermelon Ice. So again, join the Inner Circle right now. What are you waiting for? Go download the app. All right, well, let's take a look at the numbers from this game presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. The Arizona Diamondbacks here. I'm not going to mop the floor with the Mariners in this one. They outscored them 10-3. Hits, pretty even. Diamondbacks had 13 to the Mariners 12. Runners in scoring position. We did the thing. Diamondbacks took advantage of the opportunities they had, went 4 for 6. Meanwhile, the Mariners were 1 for 12 in this game with runners in scoring position. It's really the extra base hits that gives the Diamondbacks a clear advantage in this one, besides obviously the run total, but it's because of the extra base hits. Diamondbacks had 2 triples there from Corbin Carroll, a couple of doubles from Perdomo and Naylor, and then Gurriel hit his 10th home run of the year, Moreno hit his 5th, and Alec Thomas hit his 3rd. So, again, big night for the extra base hits, big night for the home runs. Meanwhile, expected batting average once again shows exactly how hard the Mariners were hitting the ball out off of Brandon Pfaadt tonight. Their expected batting average in this game was 342. The Diamondbacks' expected batting average in this game was 325. So there you go. That's fun, if you want to call it fun. I will also say that the Diamondbacks, again, just did an excellent job tonight of taking advantage of opportunities. CB Buckner was behind the plate, so we knew that there were going to be fights. I put out a poll to see who thought which manager was going to get in a fight first, and some of you were like, it has to be Torey, right? It has to be Torey. There's no way it's Dan Wilson. Dan Wilson's too nice of a guy. Well, guess what? Once CB Buckner started questioning how many pitches their relief pitchers were allowed to throw, things got heated real fast because it's CB Buckner, and you know that a fight's going to break out. I don't even have to throw shade at CB Buckner. CB Buckner knows I have a problem with him, and he knows everybody has a problem with him, and that's why he's so aggressive just in general in life with everybody. But let's take a look at the NL West standings, a.k.a. our drunken orgy of violence. Diamondbacks here still sit in 4th place, but now it's by 6.5 games instead of 7.5. Dodgers got mollywopped tonight themselves by the Padres, and I don't know who to root for in this fight. Damon, I really don't. Like, I just want all these teams when they play each other to kind of beat each other equally so that we stay in it. But on the other hand, it's a kind of a foregone conclusion that the Dodgers are going to win this division. So I guess I should be rooting for the Padres and the Giants to lose more. Should I not? Like, what, how should I feel here?
Yeah, from a wild card standpoint, I see what you're saying. It does make more sense to root against the Padres for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard to not root against those boys in blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, when a series goes a certain way, like I want them to all split the games and lose as many games as they win. And I just want them to keep, just keep giving the Diamondbacks a chance to at least stay a part of the pack. Right now, they're 1 game below 500. Let's see what happens tomorrow against the Mariners. I'm not going to even say the S word. I shouldn't even say the S word. Like, I shouldn't even say that. That's already
You're
too
getting
much.
a little close right now.
I really am. I'm walking a fine line. I'm walking right up to the line. I'm tiptoeing up to it. But I'm not crossing it, Damon. I'm not crossing it.
Did you see what Sean said here, by the way, about what Jerry said to Perdomo yesterday, or what Jerry said to Josh yesterday in the post game?
No, I did not see that. What did he say?
He said apparently that he rubbed Josh Naylor's belly, and he said your wife is proud of you. Rubbed his belly and said your baby is proud of you too.
That's crazy. And you're wondering why Josh Naylor is upset? He said that to him on live television.
After he poured water all over him.
Oh my God. I love Jerry P so much. He's the best guy ever. So let's see. What we got some super chats, Damon. Speaking of which, what do we got?
Yeah, we're starting off with BCSC. $2 says big body Kelly,
Yes.
big body Dbacks,
Yeah.
hard body Damon.
Yeah, hard body, David. Let's go.
I love being a part of this.
I'm glad you are. David Harris. Pfaadt had the 2014 Seahawks behind him tonight. Yeah, Legion of Boom. Let's go.
You see that interception from Richard Sherman out in left field?
It was
tonight?
amazing. It was amazing. It saved the touchdown.
It certainly did. 2BMC 499 says the guy we traded for Seawald ruins the save. The guy we traded for Gino gives up the grand slam. Both things we came to expect from them. Serendipity.
Yeah, that's the truth there. What do we got from Candace?
Candace says, there's an article about potential moves, and if the D-backs make a big push, do you agree with trading Tommy Troy and Gino Groover for bullpen help?
I do not. And we'll get into that. We have a lot.
The record would have to be a lot better, I think, by that portion of the season to get off of, your more top prospects for probably a rental.
And if I'm being honest, yeah, I'm not doing it for a rental, and I'm not doing it for a closer that's just going to come over here and fall apart like everybody does when they become a part of this franchise, right? I am not unless it's Ryan Helsley. That's it. That's it. Like full stop. It's got to be one of the best closers in the league for me even to consider it. Would the Mariners want to give us one Andres Munoz, perhaps? Jordan PM says, Derek, the last time we said the S word with the Rockies, my father ended up having to stop talking to me completely. That seems
you're splitting up families, Derek.
I don't think that's an overreaction, quite frankly. That's what I think. Oh, David Chacon is in here. He's calling me out. You know, you're not the only person to call me out. You know who else called me out tonight in the clubhouse? One John Gambadoro was like, "Is that a Mariner shirt you're wearing?" as loudly as he could. And I love Gambo. So yeah, no, this is not a Mariner shirt. I am wearing a Ken Griffey Jr. shirt. There's a difference. This particular company does not have the licensing for the Mariners logo, so you will not find a single Seattle Mariners logo anywhere on this shirt. So, yeah.
Wait until Derek wears his Vin Scully shirt on Dodgers series night.
No, but I will wear a Harry Carey one. That's for sure. All right. Well, we are going to go to one last break. And then on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about me giving the Diamondbacks some trade deadline advice. All of them. Even you, Elise, a.k.a. Mike Hazen. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You are still watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. You know the jingle, you know the company. Empire Today is the place to shop for flooring, and the reason why is because they're flooring experts, quite frankly. They are ball knowers, but ball knowers when it comes to flooring. They eat, breathe, and sleep flooring more than I eat, breathe, and sleep baseball, and that's because they love it, and they want to make sure that you love it as much as they do. Why is Empire Today your best bet for new flooring? It's because they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole new ballgame with Empire Today. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space, and you can see how that flooring will look in your space. You can see how your lighting, how your windows, how everything will look with your new flooring. That way, when you make your final decision, you know what the result is going to be, and you know you will be happy with it. You'll also get precise measurements and have all of your questions answered, so there are no surprises at all. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day because nobody likes to wait. So, schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use promo code PHNX. That's right, just like the little thing at the bottom says. We are not lying to you. You heard right, a $350 discount with code PHNX. Restrictions do apply. Visit EmpireToday/PHNX for full details. And me and Damon, one of these days, we're going to take that boys trip over to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, but you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You go unprompted. Go enjoy their wonderful gaming floor. Take a staycation. Hang out by the pool, especially during this time of the year. Get yourself a frosty pina colada and live your best life. But most importantly, do you however you want to do you over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can catch every thrilling moment at the BetMGM Sportsbook, which has massive screens, delicious foods and drinks, and all the action. It's the ultimate place to watch and win. Place your bets and experience the excitement. And then again, head down to the gaming floor. Head to one of their wonderful restaurants. Check out any one of their wonderful Valley locations. They got 4: Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vicuiva, and Santan Mountain. So again, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Well, Damon, I know one place we will be dipping into the pool, and that is at Chase Field. We are going to do that on July 3rd from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. because it is our PHNX pool party at Chase Field, a.k.a. not Shane's birthday. It's not Shane's birthday.
Well, I'd say, it certainly wasn't Shane's birthday tonight when, his team takes the L. And
I went and sat by him, and then bad things happened to the Mariners, and he got so mad at me, and him and his dad told me to kick rocks, and I love that. It was a good time.
I love Shane's dad, by the way.
Shane's dad's the best.
Isn't he a hoot? I went to Shane's house one time to watch some college football over there, Derek, and Shane's dad had a different bet than Shane, but he was kind of on the other side, but his bet was dead. Like, he had like a spread in there and it wasn't going to hit. Like, it was over. And he just looked at Shane and he was like, I hope you lose. And he he straight up was like, I'm rooting, my bet will not hit. I am rooting against your bet from hitting right now. His own son in his own house.
Me and him are cut from the same
And
cloth.
I was dying laughing. I was like, Jay Diefenbach, you're a man for my heart.
Yeah.
Just going against the boys.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, Shane has the best parents. I would venture to say he doesn't deserve them. I would venture to say that. And he doesn't deserve to have his birthday celebrated on July 3rd at our pool party. So do not bring him cards, do not bring him presents, no balloons, no nothing. But bring yourself, bring a swim trunks, bring a swim bathing suit, whatever you want to call it, and come join us. Their tickets are very limited, but you do get a game ticket to the Diamondbacks versus Giants in that pool. You get complimentary food, beverages during the entirety of the game, and of course also that towel you get to take home with you, which is probably the best part of the whole thing. Actually, the best part is hanging out with us, hanging out with your fellow diehards and having a great time. The pool party last year was honestly one of my favorite events that we've ever done. And again, I've really never had a chance to be in my bathing suit at Chase Field besides that day without shoes on. It felt very weird, Damon. But it felt good. It felt right. It felt like that's how I should cover every baseball game. So wet and shoeless. That's how
doing
I should
cannonballs
cover.
in the pool.
Just
man.
doing cannonballs. Yeah, absolutely. But make sure to join us for that. Again, tickets are very limited. You can get those tickets over at gophnx.com. I believe /events or on our events tab. But make sure to join us for that. All right. Well, the Diamondbacks, of course, aren't having their best season. We all know that. There's no surprises there. Damon, in fact, the Dbacks currently have a 16.1% chance of making the postseason. I will say that again, a 16.1% chance of making the postseason. Now, last year, at one point, they had a very, very high percentage chance of making the postseason, and that dwindled away. So maybe this can be the opposite, where it increases instead of gets smaller. But their chances of winning the World Series right now is at less than 1%. They are currently at 0.4% chance of winning the championship. And according to reports on MLB.com and ESPN, the Buzzards are circling. They are circling the carcass known as the Diamondbacks roster this season. Teams are already reportedly interested, very interested in Gino Suarez, including the New York Yankees that have a strong interest in bringing in a third baseman. Teams are also very interested in Merrill Kelly. So what's the answer here? I guess the answer here is to prove every single person wrong. Prove every single person wrong. And the way that the Diamondbacks are going to have to do it is with their offense. And we saw that tonight. We saw that in this series. We saw it last night. We saw it in this game. The Diamondbacks offense at times is potent. They continue to be one of the best teams in baseball in a lot of categories, or at least a top 5 team in baseball in a lot of offensive categories. And quite frankly, that is the only way that they are going to be able to win this season, right? They can't rely on their bullpen. Their starting pitching is solid, but it's not nearly as solid as it was when Corbin Burnes was a part of this starting rotation. So according to Brad Doolittle from ESPN, he agrees. And he says that if Arizona is going to be in position to justify additions to the staff, it'll be up to the hitters to get the team there.
Mm-hmm.
Outscoring teams en route to contention is a dicey proposition, but what other choice does Arizona have? And I don't really have an answer for that. I don't think that there's an answer in the minor league system. We know how hard it is to go out and acquire anybody at this point, right? Like no teams, they're maybe the Colorado Rockies, maybe a couple of teams in the American League. Like nobody's waving the white flag yet. Nobody's getting ready to trade away any of their best players, and that's going to come at the end of next month when the Diamondbacks might be in a similar position to make that decision. The biggest thing here, though, is like Candace had asked earlier, talking about trading young prospects away at this point when the Diamondbacks are on such thin ice this year seems like a very bad idea, right? The Diamondbacks are an organization that they are going to constantly need to build from within, and trading guys like one James Groover and one Tommy Troy doesn't seem like the best ideas. It's hard for me to go from calling him Gino Groover for so long to now calling him Lou James, so that's going to be an adjustment for me. But regardless,
is that a full-time switch?
Yeah, I think he went full. Like I have not seen him listed as Gino Groover anywhere, so it's kind of going.
I'm not going to say
name.
I don't. I do very much like the name Lou James, but I will say, given the alliteration of Gino Groover and just kind of how that fit, like kind of feels like we deserve a little bit of a compensation draft pick back. Like,
Gino
part of the
Gruber is
reason we drafted you where we drafted you is because you had an MLB caliber name, buddy.
Like
and if you're going to change your name on us, then we want our damn draft pick back.
Hazen met this kid and was like, "What's your name?" Gino Gruber.
Sold.
Done. No
That's
questions.
the guy.
That's him.
That's our second round pick.
That's our guy. Yep.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that just in general, just in terms of alliteration's sake. But Lou James does work for me as well.
Yeah.
I will say, Derek, Fangraphs has the Diamondbacks as a 30.7% chance to make playoffs, so they're a little bit more bullish on the Dbacks odds. And I just think it's too early to really, say, like, should this team be selling off a Merrill Kelly or a Geno Suarez? But I am where Elise is at, and let's sell off Pavin Smith.
No.
Who wants?
No.
Who wants?
Elise, get out.
Who wants to break off a piece of Pavin Smith? Because I'm taking calls.
Yeah.
I'm taking calls.
Well, what I will say is that, again, it's a hard time because Mike Hazen still believes in this team. Mike Hazen does not want to be a seller at the trade deadline. And honestly, I think when you've seen this team perform the way that they performed at times in spurts, right? Like, it's almost like Lourdes' offense. You have these great stretches and then you have these really ugly stretches. And you almost feel like, there's been so much ugliness to the beginning of the season that things have to get better, and things are getting better. Today's game was proof of that. Today's game was a game that had to make you feel better about this team and a lot of their shortcomings that they've had this season. However, is it too little too late? I mean, it's still June 10th, so I don't know if it's too late, but it does get to a point where, teams are going to have to make that decision on, are we going to be a postseason team? Are we going to be, a team that can actually contend? And I don't know, but Elise says, do I believe in this team? Maybe, but definitely not in Pavin. Well, that means that he's out of here. That's what that means. So
I don't want to harp on it too much, man, but he is this slump that he's in, and he does this often, right? Where he's so hot and cold, and you're like, man, did Pavin figure something out? And then for a month, he gives you a 630 OPS from the designated hitter spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crushing the team.
Yeah.
He's been the least productive hitter in this lineup for a month now.
Yeah.
And he's the DH. You cannot have that. And I'm fine with him being like a pinch hitter or something, but I am over the Pavin Smith has chops to be a hitter.
People's hearts in this chat. I
don't care. I'm ready. I know that there's some Pavin lovers here, and that people are not going to be happy with me. We are the
Pavin Smith fan club. What are you talking about, Pavin lovers? Get out of here. Get out of here with your bad takes on Pavin Smith. I have never been in this
fan club. Let the record show.
All right. Well, Diamondbacks, go score a whole lot of runs, win some stuff, and stop becoming the talk of trade talk. Let's make this team a team where we're going to do episodes about who they're going to add and not who they're going to lose. And we're going to do that. By the way, my favorite Nats fan on here asked me Nathaniel Lowe for Geno Suarez. My Nipsert says Suarez for Nathaniel Lowe. You get an all-star first baseman, we get to shore up our third base. We can talk. We'll talk. I'm just saying. I'm leaving that conversation open. We'll have a chat about that because Nathaniel Lowe has been killing it. But you guys kill it, and the Diamondbacks killed it tonight. Glad to have you here. We will be back tomorrow with another postgame show. We got an afternoon game, so make sure to join us after that. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And of course, we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your hot takes. We thank you for your super chats, and we appreciate your time. As I've said before, your time is your most valuable commodity. Thank you for sharing it with Damon and I. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Sleep well. Enjoy yourselves. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when the offense absolutely kills it.
It definitely is, Derek, and we will have to filibuster here for the final 10 seconds. I do think about baseball being that fun when that happens, though.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fun when that happens. And thank you for filibustering for me, Damon. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Behave yourselves. Remember that, kids.
We all silly like the mayor.